Hey, welcome back. It is Sunday. For most of you, it is afternoon, and that means it's time for Morgan's lazy Sunday afternoon productivity stream, where sometimes we're productive, sometimes we're not, but we always have snacks. So, right now, we are deep into the preparation of Preptober, getting ready for NaNoWriMo, otherwise known as National Novel Writing Month. Not all of us are nanites. If you're not, don't worry about it. But yeah, I'm here. So with me today, I have Doc Coleman and Sako Tumi. Say hi to the nice people.
Hello, nice people.
Hi to the nice people.
Uh, and yeah, introduce yourselves and tell them what you are working on today.
I am Sako Tumi, also known as Cass Voit. I write horror and I'm a witch and I'm a graphic designer. Sometimes I combine those three things. I am doing Drawloween, so I need to start a new piece and maybe a couple of new pieces I would like to start. So I got my weeks set ahead of me.
And I am Doc Coleman. I write steampunk comedy adventure, and I'm still working on revisions to Kindred of Kali today because I haven't had time to set up the 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 short story that I have due out for Kickstarter, which I need to kind of crank out the first version of it in October so that I can start working on a YA novel in November. So
Oh wow.
I'm super excited for you because you've been talking about that YA novel that you're hoping to get to for a while now.
yeah, it's a. I've actually I realized the first time I had a strike at it that it's a trilogy. Um,
Mm,
but yeah, I got about 40,000 words into it the first time around, but it wandered horribly. But now
yeah,
I've got a better grasp of the whole story, and uh, I figure I should be able to make a good strike at it this time and be able to put it in better shape.
sure, sure. And I am still working on that beta read for my dad. I am like 70 pages in. I thought I was going to do some while I was traveling, and instead I just read books. Uh, no regrets. I wasn't set up to have my laptop out and working on stuff. I had put
Yeah.
it inside my carry-on, so once the carry-on was closed, getting it out was just it was a hassle.
Yeah, I
Listen,
gotcha.
oh,
I've been told that, of course, I have no regrets. I mean, egrets. It's puffins in Iceland, not
mm,
egrets.
Uh,
okay.
So, um, yeah, so that's what I'm going to be working on. Also, I have not been online very much this week, so I may have some notifications and stuff to catch up with. And of course, it's Preptober. I've got, some planning to do for I have decided which story I'm doing. I was debating back and forth if I was going to try the suburban fantasy again, and I think I'm not. I think I'm going to write another space fantasy because if I don't get an agent, I want to be able to go ahead and publish it myself or small press or whatever.
Mhm.
Um, and they sell better if you have something else like a series or at least something else set in the same world. So
right.
this is going to take one of the very tertiary characters from my space fantasy that I am currently sending to agents right now, and it's going to expand their universe. And instead of sentient octopuses, because nobody can stop me, I'm thinking maybe
Maybe.
sentient red pandas
Sentient red pandas
Hmm.
as detectives.
as detectives.
Detective red pandas, as opposed to warrior red pandas. But
Right, right, of course, of course. So I'm super excited, but I that I have the fairy tale structure that I'm stealing from for it, and the three characters, and that's about it right now. So I would like to do a bit more planning. I'd like to do a high level outline for all of them, some beat sheets, and maybe some character uh, really get to know them a little better. And I think last week I was talking about how I believe I made a mistake with my playlist last year. Last year I was doing 3 point of view characters and I had one seed song. And I think the reason the main character, flowed better is because all of the music was her jam. And so each point of view character might need their own playlist.
Yeah, maybe so.
So I might have to look for some music for that. So that's my plan for this month. Maybe not tonight. So let's pop into the comments. Oh my gosh, Andy, you haven't been here in a hot minute. Welcome back. Felicia, hello and welcome. Desdemona is here. Jordan made it back. Hello, Jordan. Jordan says, "Hey guys, and how to Morgan, my autistic friend. I've lost track of you over the months. I am not autistic. I am ADHD, or I don't know if that was a self-referential. Okay. Rita is here. Hello. Ooh, Rita just finished printing the rest of their written chapters, so Rita can continue with fresh words for Nano with the novel started last year. Nice. Yeah. Jordan is working on an assignment for their biodiversity class, as tomorrow is when it's due.
Yep.
RC Scott swung by with hearts.
Hi, RC.
Black hearts. The gothiest of hearts. Desdemona is going to finish her rewrite of chapter 18 and then start her NaNoWriMo outline.
Okay.
RC Scott
Outline
also,
you speak of.
right. RC Scott is also on fire and jamming out.
For Halloween.
For Halloween.
The Halloween
Yeah. So Rita is also a NaNoWriMo fan, so that's nice. Desdemona is also exciting. After a year of mainly editing, it will be fun to write something new. 100%. That's what I say.
Weird because I'm doing Nano as well. I think.
Okay.
And it's a paranormal romance. So not only would I be starting a whole new story, I'd be starting a genre that I know nothing about. I just bought
Have you read
Romancing the Beat.
Okay.
So I'm going to read through Romancing the Beat and see if my outline lines up with it in any way. Yeah. New projects. Hooray.
Yeah. I say that all the time. I fast draft in November and I spend the rest of my life editing.
Hey, if it works, it gets your books done. That's all that you need.
Exactly. Well, I usually finish up in like January, February-ish, because 50,000 isn't a full manuscript. Anyway, you get it.
Yeah.
So Jordan has faith in me and knows that I will publish. It will have time, but yay. RC Scott, totally behind Sentient Panda Detectives.
Yeah.
Patrick suggests Pandectives.
Pandetectives. Yeah.
Pandetectives. Desdemona loves octopus, but Red Pandas Detectives is super cute. I know. I'm so excited. Rita agrees with the whole editing versus writing. Same for Rita. Since May, it's been all revising other series for her. So Jennifer, hey, welcome.
Hey.
Is also totally into the sentient red pandas. That would be so awesome. So RC says one of the pandas should be a real hard case.
So when you talk about the panda detectives, are these like, part of a galactic police force, or are these just like a private detective pandas?
Private detective.
Okay.
So we've got the guy who doesn't know where his sister got off to because things and stuff, but she knows where he is and thought he knew where she was, so she didn't know to worry. Anyway, it's exciting. And she doesn't message because she feels guilty about the whole situation. It's a thing. So, okay. Andy says, yes, I'm back. Had busy Sunday. with family in Chicago, friends, and other items. He's redlining a short story for rewriting and submission.
Neat.
Desdemona thinks that Sako's paranormal romance sounds fun.
Oh, we'll see. It's a lesbian vampire story.
Ooh. Is there a love triangle?
Sort of.
Okay. Is there an enemies to lovers?
Also
What
sort
tropes?
of.
Okay. Let's see. Andy says that horror translates well into paranormal romance. It's how the genre started. The horror folks were the only ones who could tolerate the vampire sex.
Well, you know what? Like,
Bring it.
yeah. It's got horror overtones anyway because I'm writing it, but
Right,
you know,
yeah.
like, I have questions about my outline that I need to answer before I actually start writing.
Sure. So, Desdemona says that her nano project is going to be a murder investigation during a virus outbreak because she can't write simple plots. Two investigators and a journalist will be the points of view. Jennifer says for Nano, she's working on a project in a genre she's unfamiliar with, so she totally gets Sako's anxiety.
Well, I don't know if it's anxiety per se. It's just refreshing.
Yeah,
you know?
Right.
It's good to stretch yourself out and try something new. So.
Yeah.
I'm doing the opposite. I never play in the same world twice, which is why half the reason I challenged myself to do this.
I am very bad about not playing in the same world twice. I should be working on the sequel to Flambeau because that's going to be a series thanks to BC coming back. Okay.
I'm so happy that things are working better for BC. I know she went through
that she actually has
time.
a schedule she can go along with.
I don't know. One of the things I keep doing is I keep playing the same world but trying to make it different.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's a big challenge to not fall into the same tropes, but to go explore new ones.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to keep a fairy tale feel in space, and these are different characters but the same number of point of views. Two humans who are related and an alien point of view. So I feel like it's the same balance, even if it's different characters. I don't know. Is it enough to be a series? Am I going in the wrong direction?
I don't know. We'll see.
Well, you can definitely do a series of space age fairy tales. I should say space age galactic fairy tales because you're out in the universe and with different life forms. But
yeah. The next one's going to be like half set on like space stations and stuff, where the last one was a little bit on small little ships and a very cold, mostly oceanic planet. So, popping into the comments, Desdemona says it's not actually a murder, it's a mysterious death investigation that they assume is a murder at first.
Suspicious.
Nefarious.
Oh no, I might have to try noir because Andy wants my pandas to have fedoras and trench coats.
See, is this like a racial or a familial trait for these pandas that they become detectives because they just have like, oh no, don't ghost the pandas because they will find you and find out what happened. Just if you're breaking up with them, tell them out front, save you so much problem.
No, it's a family business, and it's his first time like doing an investigation without his parents helping. And he's got this chick he wants to impress who's on his staff, and she doesn't know he's crushing on her.
Okay, so it is more of a family thing. That it's a family of investigators who just happen to be in the phrase. Okay.
Yeah. And the human hired the panda to find his sister, and his sister is trying to fix her mistakes that got her brother in the situation he is in. And so let's see. Desdemona is the opposite of playing in the same world. She was going to have a big natural disaster in her world, but the brain was like,
No,
nope,
you
can't
can't
break
do
it.
it. No. No, but changing the world can make it so interesting. Pandora's, please, not
Not
Fedora.
fedoras. Oh,
And then everyone will be horribly confused when someone insists that Pandora is something entirely different from a hat worn by a panda.
okay. Oh,
I mean, not that it's hard to amuse me, but I need a minute. Okay, okay. Jennifer Brown is going to be writing multiple point of views for the first time.
okay.
It
Oh,
is
very
fun.
cool.
It is
Very
fun,
cool.
but um, like I'd written multiple points of view before, but it had been like two people alternating, whereas my latest one was 3 point of views, and like different people met up at different times, and getting the pacing so they climaxed at the same time was a huge skill that I didn't know that I needed until I needed it.
Mhm.
So that's definitely something you might want to pay attention to, is make sure that, one one person isn't done with the stress when the others are still in the thick of the tension. Will they escape? I don't know. Oh, we have already confronted Mom, and now things are getting cool, and everything's coming together. And will they escape? Yeah,
Yeah.
it didn't work. Luckily, remember, you can break up scenes.
Mhm.
They can
Yeah,
cross
and the separate
between
chat.
chapters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then part of it is it's like, okay, we've got all these characters, we've got all my point of view characters in the same stress. Which one will we relieve the stress in? Because you got to pick
As
one.
Yeah, yeah. As long as the next ones are ready to chunk, 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 chunk. I mean, they
Yeah.
still need tension because you're still writing a story. But yeah,
Mhm.
so anyway, what do you say about a sprint?
A sprint sounds great.
It's probably a good time for sprint. I should probably like open my manuscript if I'm going to edit it.
But that's just silliness.
Yeah.
Silly on top of it.
Maybe I will do Preptober things.
Ooh, maybe you do.
Oh, shoot.
There's a timer.
I found a timer. Oh my gosh, the timer was still open from last week. Maybe I should close that one. Okay, so are we ready to get started?
Let us do that.
In 3, 2, 1, boom, chakalaka, laka, laka. And we're back. How was your sprint, Sako?
Good. It was good. I solved some problems that were in the story, and I'm kind of comparing it to Romancing the Beat in hopes that I'm actually like following a logical progression, and apparently I am so far.
Nice. I got through about 7 pages of beta reading, and I've got a couple notes about, hey, show, don't tell. You're giving me all the same information, but instead of saying, telling me what he said, just have him say it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mike spoke, advising him to blah, blah, blah. Why not just, Mike spoke, do this? Like, it's so close. It's
It's
not
so
adding
close.
lines.
Yeah.
It's not, yeah, yeah. So I'm just, but it can be hard to see it in your own writing when you're just, oh, I'm just trying to get through this. I know in the YA I was sending out forever that I had a scene where I was summarizing some travel, and I was like, wait, it turns into an actual scene with 2 paragraphs, which is the exact same amount of time I used to like summarize it. But like
Hmm.
her feet hurt, and it's muddy, and you know
Yeah.
you just change the perspective, and all of a sudden you're showing and not telling. And yeah, so how is your sprint, Doc?
It started to go pretty well, adding some more detail to a confrontational scene because apparently, no, people can't get swept from the action. They have to have detail and know everything that's going on in the room. It's like, no, it's just these two guys yelling at each other.
It depends. It depends.
Yeah,
Some authors, have light description and sell very well. John Scalzi
yeah,
does light description and rolls.
yeah. No,
So
I'm just saying that's what my editor is saying. So I'm putting a few little things to give you
yeah, yeah.
more illustration, but I'm not going to describe what everybody else is doing in the room while two
No.
people
No.
are yelling at each
And
other,
their eye color and how long their
sucking up
lashes
all
are,
the oxygen. But I got distracted from that. Went, oh, my groceries arrived.
because it's Sunday, and that's when Doc's groceries arrive.
Well, because it's Sunday and because I'm usually too tired to do it on Saturday like I'm supposed to. So, but I have to have groceries before Monday. So here we are.
Yep, we are.
Yeah.
Popping into the comments, Rita was saying that she writes YA urban fantasy with witches and family secrets, and the current one is set back in 1995. And for Switch, it's a small town in Canada. That one,
Small Canadian town.
Canada.
Small town
Yeah.
Canadian town. No. Based on
Uh,
a real one.
did I tell you about the one? So my favorite trick for fast drafting is to have a list of names
Yes.
used for my world,
Yes.
for secondary characters and stuff like that, because naming is really hard and can pull me out of a story. And so if I have a list I can grab and go, then I'm good. And I learned this when I was fast drafting. I did a nano and a half, so 75,000 words, as a sequel to my YA fantasy, and it has Alice, Bob, and Carol invading Canada, because I had placeholder names, and there's no reason to revise it until I know what book one is going to finish looking
Right.
like. But yeah, they're horrible placeholder names, and now I don't do that. I just have names for my world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
uh,
my names are either very specific because it's driven by the story, or they're
yeah,
completely throwaway names, in which case I usually go out and grab a name of some friend of mine that I haven't used before, warp it in some way, and then stick them in there.
Gotcha.
I like to have names that, it depends on the story, but
Mhm.
like have a similar feel. But I also don't like usually to. I'm doing a Baba Yaga story, so Russian names were totally on the plate. But everything else I've written in the past has really been like, I don't want to invoke a particular culture, so I want names that sound like real names, but don't, say Eastern European or African or, Nigerian or whatever country it is. So coming up with names that sound like names that aren't real names, that don't invoke a specific culture has been a challenge.
Oh,
Yeah.
because
And I'm sure I didn't succeed.
I'm exactly the opposite boat, because I'm doing on location bits in different cultures.
Right.
I either want, oh look, here's the name of the English invader, or here's the name of some person in the culture.
Yeah, and that makes perfect sense for your setting.
Yeah.
But, especially with fantasy, you've already got, oh, it's a fantasy, so clearly these are the tropes it's gonna follow. And,
Mhm.
I kinda lean more Studio Ghibli style than necessarily Western. I've
Yeah.
got, like, trains in my way, world fantasy, but they're run by magic, that kinda thing.
Right.
So,
And you can also do a lot of background building because you are set in space. If you just include random names from different cultures, or
yep.
first and last name from different cultures, it's like, okay, there was a bit of a mixture there going on.
Yeah, yeah. So, and I'm gonna have to figure out, oh my gosh, words, red panda words. I need a whole vocabulary for
Mhm.
them. So that's
Mm.
gonna be fun.
Mhm.
Uh, Let me pop into the comments and say hello. Israr is here. Hello and welcome. Um,
Yeah, and of course,
and
groceries arrived just as the sprints went.
right. RC says, I rock with Instacart. Can't you in front?
Yeah,
You gotta put away that ice cream. I mean, obviously,
hopefully.
right? Adega is here. Hello.
Hi, Adega.
Welcome. Good to have you. It says hi to people. Desdemona got 414 words. Very
Nice.
solid. Ooh, Andy says the redlining by hand is done. Time to translate into actual typewritten edits.
Nice.
With those bloody red hands. No.
Yeah, right. And Desdemona says that's what I've done with mine. I use the behind the name and select all as far as their culture goes for names. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, one of the things I was told about using names from cultures you might not be familiar with is to not just steal a first name from one person and a last name from somebody else, because they might be coming from different groups that don't commingle.
Right.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
if you're doing it on purpose, that's one thing, but to do it through lack of knowledge is a different vibe. So they suggest stealing the name wholesale instead of piecemealing. So just something to think about. And, setting and location obviously matters, because, the names that are popular this year are not the ones that were 100 years ago in
Yeah.
both, the US and other countries as well. So,
Yeah, I definitely ran straight into that with a Kindred of Kali being set in India, because some names tend to run by places and others tend to run by caste,
yeah.
and it's really hard to get a feel for how the caste system still affects India, and even trying to get cultural sensitivity readers to look at the story and look at the names. They didn't give me any comments on the names, and it's like, I don't know if that means that I did well, or that the modern day people, most of them, don't care.
Is this when I say my tip on getting the feedback you're looking for? The best way to do it is to ask for it.
I did, still didn't get it.
Okay. If you specifically asked for it and they didn't point anything out, then pat yourself on the back, consider it well done.
Yeah,
Or
pretty much what
you
I got
know,
to do. I got to sail with what I got right now.
or or future marketing as it goes virally condemned.
As it's virally condemned. Yeah,
Cancel culture or something.
I don't know.
Yeah. So, popping to the comments, Desdemona says, my people are not on Earth, and their original population only started out with about 900 people, so they didn't have really a lot of separate cultural
Yeah.
lines. Cultural lines,
Or if
where I
they
can talk.
did, they blended really quick.
Oh my gosh. They were trapped on a colony ship with each other for 1,000-ish years, several generations.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Were they longer lived than humans now? Otherwise, I think we're talking 15 to 20 generations.
Yeah.
No, 20 to 25, because people don't have babies after age 50.
Not usually.
Not usually.
Sometimes, but not usually.
So, right. Oh, JK's here.
Hi, Joanna. Hi, hi, hi.
I am working on beta reading a sci-fi for my dad. I'm 82 pages in now from 76. So
Mhm.
progress has been.
Progress.
He doesn't have it double spaced though. He double spaces between paragraphs, and we had to talk about what
Double spacing.
manuscript manuscript format was supposed to look like, and because he's done this on other things, and I thought it was just a preference, and I'm like, so why do you never do this? And he's like, what are you talking about? So we had a discussion, but I didn't want to reformat the whole manuscript because then every line looks like it's been changed. That's just annoying.
Yeah.
Why do you never do this industry standard thing? No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for those tuning in who actually don't know what manuscript format is, it is 12-point font, 1-point margins. The chapter comes
1
down
inch
about
margin.
one.
You said
What
1
did I
point.
say?
That would be a very small margin. 1 inch
Oh,
margin.
sorry. Yes. And the chapter starts down about a third of the page.
Okay.
You want the header to have your last name, the title of the book or an abbreviation thereof, and the page numbers.
Yep.
And that goes in the header. And it should be paragraphs indented, double space between all lines, but no extra line spaces.
Yeah.
And the indentation should be from the paragraph stop rather than tabbing over manually.
Oh.
If you can do it that way. Does that make sense? Like in Word and Google Docs, you can set the paragraph to start indented, and that's what you want. Scene changes should have a hashtag or like 3 stars on a line by themselves. And you can have scene changes in the middle of a chapter. That's totally fine. And the first page has your name, address, contact information in the upper left, and then centered is the title, followed by your name.
And often the total length of the manuscript
Yes.
in the upper right.
Yeah, in the upper right. Mm-hmm. So you can Google it. It's easily found, but those are the generals. And you should use either Arial or Times New Roman are the standard fonts, because that way they know from the page number, how long it actually is, because different fonts have different spacing and stuff like that. So short stories are a little different, but not a lot. So but I mean, obviously you can write in whatever font, script, whatever you want, whatever works for you. I know a lot of people switch up the fonts when they edit because it makes them see it fresh.
Yeah.
And I'm loving Quando right now. Quando. But I did have to make it like 14 size font, or 10 size font, so the page numbers would match up.
Oh, I see.
Because it was a slightly larger font.
Yeah.
You mean you're not reading in Comic Sans or Papyrus? No.
Comic Sans is supposed to be good for people who are dyslexic. So if it helps them, more power to them. I'm not going to diss Comic Sans for personal use.
There's actually a version of Comic Sans and Times New Roman that are dyslexic friendly.
Nice. Are they like the heavily weighted ones, so the bottom is slightly thicker?
Yes, and the way the letters are shaped are a little more streamlined and less choppy.
Nice. I've used Open Dyslexic before as a font.
Nice.
So
I just know that Comic Sans and Papyrus are ones that get absolutely no respect from people who care about fonts. So,
there is a time and a place. It just got overused, and now people are cranky.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
I one of the webcomic artists I read, she was dyslexic and was having trouble learning to read, and comic books is how she learned to read, and half of that is because comics are printed very often using Comic
Mhm.
Sans, plus the picture and the breakup and everything, so it
Mhm.
wasn't a wall of text. But
Right.
if it works for you, just maybe don't publish with it
Yeah.
unless it fits the feel of the book.
Yeah.
It's just overused, but that doesn't mean there aren't good uses for it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Don't exactly think we want to see a superhero novel written in
No.
printed
We
in
should
Comic
print
Sans.
so you can get some more to drink.
yeah, let's finish up with the comments and do another sprint.
Okay.
So
Where were we?
let's see. Desdemona said that they are normal humans and the whole colony ship history is really fuzzy since she's writing about the population 1,000 years after they landed. So they were traveling for 1,000 years. This is another 1,000 years later. And the population is now at 1.5 million. They have culturally accepted slower population growth really via really good birth control and not encouraging a lot of kids.
Yep.
Nice.
On a generation ship, that makes sense because you've got to have the resources for the people, and you don't want to be overpopulated with any particular age.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and Andy was answering JK since he's working on short story edits. Okay. Well,
Okay. Let's do it.
sorry, I gotta look around these flowers to see my timer. So let's go ahead and reset the thing.
All
Let's get
right.
started in 3, 2, 1. Boom. Chaka laka laka. And we're back. How was your spread?
Good.
Good.
Had some chocolate and
See,
some kettle corn, and I read some more of the Romancing the Beat. And so it has me thinking about my outline a little bit and kind of like I don't have to completely rewrite my outline. I just need to like instill the beat point in the beat. So I,
yeah.
actually uh, adhere to the beat sheet.
And they're notional. You can wiggle 5, 10 pages, and
Right, exactly. I just want to make
it just
sure
gives you.
I actually like hit each
Yeah.
of the beats at
Yes.
some juncture.
Right. For
'Cause-
those who might not be familiar, a beat sheet helps you with pacing. It's like this is when the inciting incident should happen. This is when the lovers should meet. This is like they need to have something come between them. It doesn't have to be a misunderstanding. It can be job related or family crisis or what have you. But like they need to hit some turmoil here and that sort of thing. And remember, for most of us, we're writing a 3 or a 4 act traditional structure, and so they have patterns that readers expect. And I think that a lot of writers who are like, "Oh, it's so formulaic, I would hate it," have read enough that they do it instinctively.
Yeah.
And by being able to break it down into chunks like that, it can help those who are like, it's not quite working and I don't know why. But when you step back and can analyze it like that, it can really help you figure out why your pacing doesn't quite feel right. So that's my beat sheet promo.
Even if you're comfortable with your pacing, but and you don't adhere to a traditional structure, but you want to make sure that you include certain points into your story. Beat sheet is very handy for helping you structure the order you want to make those points and making sure that you include them in your story instead of like, oh, shiny and missed it.
Yeah, there are a lot of beat sheets. Save the Cat is the beat sheet. We stole them from script writers.
Yes.
I
have
But they're telling stories the same way we are.
I have a 30-day.
And this is my favorite link.
Yeah, there you go. I have a 30-day beat sheet that is a combination of all of the beat sheets that I have come into contact with. So because I was seeing similarities between all of them, and the pacing was a little bit different with every one of them. So I tried to kind of line them up.
Sure. So pacing is one of the things that I worry the most about, even though I don't know that it's really panned out in my writing that it's not working, but it makes me feel better knowing that I'm, at least paying attention to these things when I do my outlining before I completely ignore it.
I just don't want them to put the book down.
Yeah.
I want to make it exciting enough throughout the book that they don't want to put it down.
Yeah. And sometimes I'm too nice to my characters and forget to give them an all hope is lost dark moment.
No.
So the reminder.
We still have hope in this jar right here. We still have hope. No.
The reminder that I need to be meaner to my characters is something that I need, because I like things to work out. I want them to be happy. They deserve all good things. Like kitties deserve laughs.
But they gotta have that dark moment to appreciate the bright moments.
Exactly. They gotta work for it.
They gotta earn it. Yeah, they gotta go through the dark times to have the happy times. But
yeah.
Oh, my roommate just messaged. Catechus is in fact currently enjoying his gushy food. So.
Oh, okay, good. Okay.
Very good for Catechus.
Messaged me 15 minutes ago. So, I was a little worried that she might have forgotten. I literally opened that chat to be like, "Hey, can you give my cat gushy food?" And she'd already done it. Because quality roommates, that's what I look for in a roommate, someone who remembers the important things, like Gushy Food Day.
Hmm.
My boyfriend keeps saying I should put a ring on that.
On the
She
roommate
cooks
or the
dinner
cat?
half the time, loads the dishes like all the time. Like, yeah, it's great. Quality roommate situation there. So Andy got 5 pages of edits typed up and is glad that Catechus is surviving. Speaking of food, it's time for him to pop off for
It
dinner.
is
Have
dinner time for
fun.
Andy. Yeah.
Oh, ooh, I gotta stretch. Oh, you know what
Ooh,
time it is? I think it's time
stretch
for a
Stretch break.
time.
Stretch
I was
break.
going to say, it's now that Andy's left for dinner, it's time for us to bring out the really high quality content for this last half hour. Right?
Stretch time. Oh, man.
My step count this week has been amazing.
I bet it has.
You've been
Let's
seeing
see.
all the stuff.
Doing all the things. I'm at
Yep.
10,788 today. And this is, I think, my lightest day since Sunday where I was traveling.
Yeah.
My biggest day is a little bit of a lie because I was on a horse and it gave me 12,000 steps for that. But
Oh.
I did have to like tell my horse, hey, keep moving many, many times.
Mhm.
Speed up. But yeah,
I was going to say, don't discount horseback riding just because it's the horse's feet on the ground.
yeah,
Equestrianism is definitely an athletic sport.
It is. Yeah.
yeah. So let's see. Yesterday was 11,000 and change.
Mm.
Horseback riding day was 23,000 and change. 1,000 steps. Thursday was 12 and a half. Wednesday was 18,000. And that was up a volcano inactive. And instead of going down the super steep trail where I was definitely the person in the least good shape, it was down a goat trail. I don't even think it's a goat trail, in which my shoes were not up to the task and I was holding onto the guide's backpack and I slid somewhere between 4 and 7 times. And at one point I could not get traction with my feet. So I just scooted on my butt. It was safer for like 50 yards. Okay, probably not 50 yards, but like
50 feet maybe.
probably like my height maybe 3 times downward. It was steep. I did not die and I only looked like this far ahead of me to keep from being like
Did a little downhill body skiing, basically.
It's exciting, but I did get a walk on cool down lava and walk next to spots where like the lava underneath the crust is still steaming 2 years later.
Cool.
It was super cool, even if I almost died coming down the side of the cliff. I mean, mountain. So
I have some mandatory
look
cat
at
content.
little kitty.
Excellent. We needed some mandatory cat content. Is it a writer stream without mandatory cat content? No, because the word mandatory is in there.
Yep. Where are you going?
Who's a kitty girl?
Kitty trail.
Who's a kitty trail?
Yep. There she goes. Hi, folks.
Hi, Jim.
He says hi to the kitty. And I guess y'all. See, not imaginary.
Not imaginary.
But he had to get on camera in order to see the cat, right? Is that?
Oh man,
I
my hair
like
is
to
still just a little damp from yesterday.
Oh, what? Didn't you have a show yesterday?
I did.
How'd it go?
It went marvelously. It ran kind of late, in my opinion.
Okay.
Getting home was interesting time because it was all the way in College Park.
Yeah.
Which is like an hour and a half away from me.
Sure.
It says an hour, And then you get to 295 and
Then
you're
it
back
laughs
in
at you.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
I'm sure as the crow flies, it's an
right.
hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, the stream.
Oh yeah, I
The
forgot to do
follower
shout
stream is
outs to
ready.
my latest followers. So
Oh,
look at
yay!
that. I remember how that
Give me
works.
2 toes. Now there's a gangster name. No.
Ah,
Oh, my cup is empty.
oh. So what do you say about another sprint?
Another sprint sounds wonderful.
I think there's just
Ooh,
time for it.
I think we can squeeze one more in. I seem to be averaging about 6 pages per sprint. So maybe I could do 7 in this sprint. Who knows? Craziness. Okay, in 3, 2, 1, boom. Chaka laka laka laka.
Come on, girl. Oof. Thank you, Fuzz.
And we're back. Whew. Still working on this beta read, obviously. I didn't finish. I am on page 95, so I got about 20 pages edited. I am in the middle of a fight scene, and I'm just one of the things I've been told is in fight scenes, whenever possible, you want to try and make your sentences shorter. Because shorter sentences read faster and it makes the scene flow faster. And yes, you do want to vary sentence length so that it ebbs and flows. But my dad has a little tendency of erring on the side of stage directions.
Oh.
With a lot of anding of activities.
Oh.
So I'm trying to break it up and switch it into more of a showing than telling sort of sense. So I'm working my way through this fight scene.
Yeah, there is a certain tendency.
Directions are super handy, like especially for role players. You know, a lot of us came from that background, and we want to detail it up. But when you write the fight scene, knowing the stage directions is useful for you, but does not need to be on the page.
Yeah.
So
It's like it's perfectly valid for a first draft of a fight scene to be very stage direction, but then you've got to take it away from the physical and into the emotional, and it's like, what's the impression of what happens? And it's usually in fight scenes, a lot of stuff just happens and it's vague, it's blurry impressions.
Yeah. And you know, you're dodging stuff, lights flash, loud booms.
Unless you're actually having one of those time dilation moments in your thing, and then you can get all descriptive with your sentences because everything's slowing down for you. Right.
But that's a technique to use and best done intentionally. I think some writers can definitely get away with doing things instinctively, but for a lot of us, we have to understand why it works, and that helps us add another tool to our toolbox. So for my snack of the sprint, I had some Ritz crackers, which apparently don't always come in sleeves. It came in just a sealed foil.
Oh, cool.
And some bacony cheese spread. So that was delicious.
Yum.
What was your sprint snack?
Banana.
Yeah.
My sprint snack has been M&Ms. So
nice. I did also have some cherry tomatoes. So, you know, I wasn't 100%. So.
But we're also getting ready to do a taco salad for dinner after we finish up this. So.
Did I ever tell you about the time in college where for 3 years I ate nothing but taco salads 5 to 7 times a week for lunch and dinner?
No, but I can see how that would work.
By senior year, I think I was down to like 3 times a week. But freshman year, I definitely had days where I had it more than once a day.
But it's like a case of, do you have a constant supply of taco meat and salads?
Right, exactly. Thanks to my sister, I now eat sour cream on mine. And thanks to me, she never had to ask for extra tomatoes because they knew that was coming. For those who don't know, I have an identical twin sister and we went to college together. Our friends can tell us apart, but if you don't know there's 2 of us, you just think there's something off about me. Would you agree?
Yes, I would agree.
So.
I would agree. If you don't know any better, then like, are you feeling well? You don't look so good.
Right. Or, you know, the person I see at the office picking up lunch in the cafeteria or something. They're like, were you at the community pool? I'm like, no, that was my sister. But you have to know she exists. And you have to have done more than, oh, can I squeeze by you to get, you know, the croutons to, you know.
Right.
Yep.
Patrick says there's something off about me, though. Yes, I'm the second born twin. That means I have no soul, right? I am the evil twin, but
eviler. Yeah.
It's a sliding scale. To be more evil than my sister is not actually a challenge.
Agreed.
So
She has her moments, but no.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, for
So
sure, for sure. But like, she's so
she's
wildly
sweet.
different, and she's
Mhm.
very sweet. Yes.
Yes.
So let's pop through the comments and then I'm gonna bounce because it's that
Because we're
time.
done.
It's
No.
that time. We hit the 2 hour
Yeah.
mark.
So let's see. Sako, aw, your hubby got you your anniversary gift and it's black stoneware service for 8. Oh my gosh, the plates, the pasta bowls, and the cereal bowls.
Oh,
That's a lot.
nice.
So you'll have, I guess, the old dishes up for grabs.
Yeah. So the old dishes got to go away
Yeah,
so that we can put the new dishes in the cupboard.
nice.
So
And
you
we
basically,
had a smattering of stuff. Like there
Yeah,
wasn't like a solid set of anything.
sure.
So this is wonderful. This is absolutely wonderful to me.
I have slowly been replacing my stoneware with Corel because it takes up half as much space. And
Yes.
if you're not careful in the dishwasher, the stoneware can chip on the corners. So
Oh
just be
shit.
careful
You
how
gotta
you
watch
do
out for
it.
that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
so you basically operate with one
In,
set of dishes.
yeah,
Oh, no, because
so
we've had stoneware, and we've had a set of dishes that has been passed down through time memorial and had uh, 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 as been eroded through the vagaries of time. But
So we have a set of like Civil War porcelain,
oh
mhm,
wow.
that's the
blue
stuff that
plates,
never
because
comes
that
down.
was the time, and I don't dare, like, I would use them, but Greg is like, oh, they're hideous. Come on. But I think they're beautiful. And also, they're from the Civil War, from it passed down through our family.
Okay.
So, like, I'm not, I'm kind of loath to get rid of them.
Oh no, I don't blame you. I do much the same. In fact, I think we actually have a couple sets like that that have come down through the generations that only get brought out on really special moments.
On really special occasions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So every day is going to be a special occasion with this new set. I'm really excited.
Nice. That's super awesome. I'm very excited for you. Let's see. Desdemona also enjoys taco salad and got 379 more words done. She took a short break to gather some ice cream.
Ice cream.
Yes.
Priorities.
Yes. Reward.
Nice. So it sounds like everybody had a super productive stream.
Yeah, I think so. I
I'm
did a little bit of
almost with the
everything.
chapter.
Well, let's tell everybody where they can find us and then peace out, yo.
Yeah, you can Google me at this way, Sako Tumi or Cass Voit or any or Psycho Sako. Any three of those names you'll find my content. Um, you'll find my social media. You'll find my website. Like there, and I have like three websites that are all as important as the next. So I'm sure you'll bump into them.
Awesome.
I'm contactable via all of those.
All right. And you can find my stuff by going to your favorite search engine and searching for Doc Coleman Steampunk. And that will lead you to my Amazon author page, my website at doccoleman.com. Should also, if you're looking down below here, you should also see my link tree, which will show you where all my various social media stuff is. And
Yes, also that.
yes, Linktree is so useful.
And it really is. So,
Yeah.
and I'm your host, Morgan Hazelwood. I am an actively queering fantasy author, and I blog, vlog, and podcast writing tips from the pros, and of course, my own writerly musings. This week, I was sharing tips from the convention I hit a couple weeks ago, Capclave, introducing the cozy fantasy. I'm super excited. This is becoming more of a trend,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Especially since cozy is kind of what I write. I don't like high stakes. I like,
Which is funny because I don't exist without high stakes.
I know, I like people
So
being
I'm
nice to
like,
each
no,
other.
like low stakes. Like, oh my gosh, dinner's going to be late kind of stakes.
I was going to
Like,
say, Cozy got famous for murder mysteries, so
Yeah,
the
yeah,
stakes are personal. Whether they're high or not, that's another question.
true, true. So I also did an author spotlight for W.E. Parker, who writes sci-fi comedy adventure. And over on the podcast, Writing Tips and Writerly Musings, this week I was talking about writing for young adults. So plus on TikTok and YouTube, I got a bunch of shorts with little tidbits on Preptober and how my adventure is coming. So check me out everywhere as Morgan Hazelwood, because I'm off Twitter, who never gave me my A-Z-L wood.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, have a great week wherever you are. Eat lots of snacks, and if you have a cat, make sure they have good gushy food. So
And pets.
catch you later. And pettings, all the pettings they want. So catch you later. Have a great week. Bye bye.